Current NRC regulations for industrial radiography, as specified in 10 CFR Part 20 and 10 CFR Part 34, state that the licensee may not permit any individual to act as a radiographer or a radiographer's assistant unless, at all times during radiographic operations, each individual wears on the trunk of the body a direct reading dosimeter, an operating alarm rate meter, and a personal dosimeter. It is the intent of this video to demonstrate a procedure for pocket dosimeter calibration. Pocket dosimeter requirements include: dosimeters must have a range from 0 to 200 millirem and must be recharged at the start of each shift. Direct reading dosimeters, such as pocket dosimeters, must be read and the exposures recorded at the beginning and end of each shift. Pocket dosimeters must be checked at periods not to exceed 12 months for correct response to radiation. Acceptable dosimeters must read within plus or minus 20% of the true radiation exposure. A 104 millicurie cesium-137 source contained in a calibration unit will be used for the demonstration. When conducting radiographic operations, all personnel involved in the radiographic activities must, as a minimum, wear a pocket dosimeter and a personal dosimeter. In addition, the technician must have an operable and calibrated survey instrument. To begin the process, the technician must calculate the distance in centimeters at which the actual dose rate from the calibrator source will provide 3200 mR per hour from the following equation. In this equation, D is the distance from the calibration source in centimeters. MCI is the source activity in millicuries. And mR per hour is the desired dose rate of the calibrator source in milliroentgens per hour. The calibrator source is placed at the calculated distance from the dosimeter. The source is then exposed and the dosimeter is allowed to remain in the 3200 mR per hour beam for 45 seconds. This should produce a recorded dose of 40 millirem. The dose from the dosimeter is then read and recorded and the dosimeter is recharged. The dosimeter is then placed at the same distance in front of the calibrator source and exposed for 3 minutes. This should produce a recorded dose of 160 millirem. If the dosimeter fails to read within plus or minus 20% of the true exposure values, the dosimeter should be discarded. All results are recorded by the technician on the dosimeter calibration form. A label is then applied to the outside case of the dosimeter, which verifies calibration date adequacy.